Right. Luckily it's not here.
Oh no.
Cheers. So we went to Canada for a solid working week to attend 3 conferences in 2 cities. We went to attend the Public and Social Innovation Labs event in Toronto that was hosted by Mars. We went to the Social Innovation Exchange Summer School in Vancouver and the Social Frontiers Academic Conference on Social Innovation in Vancouver as well. That's what we did.
Well, I guess we went there most to learn and absorb, and also bring back pointers on how to host these kinds of events, because we're hoping to bring them to India next year. The Labs event was definitely in some ways to introduce ourselves to the community that has been having these kinds of conversations over the last year and coming together in different cities around the world. We weren't presenting, but some of our work was reflected in the research and the work that other people were presenting and discussing amongst themselves. Aditya presented at Social Frontiers, which was the academic conference. And he also had some sessions at the 6th event that I did not attend. So
you didn't attend my event?
Yeah, I didn't attend your session.
Well, yeah, no, that was a really good session. We were invited to do a session on the future of governance. And we had a city administrator from Vancouver, and we had a regional administrator from British Columbia, and then my own good self representing the entire subcontinent. All of Asia, in fact, I was representing. So they talked about things that are really just so close to their vision, and sometimes very close to the city politics. Conversely, it was my responsibility to talk further into the future without any responsibilities. I don't run anything in Delhi, as you well know. To talk about the amateurization of government. If today the job of a video editor has gone down to everybody, the job of a graphic designer is now anybody with PowerPoint. If anybody with a Twitter handle is now a citizen journalist. Along the same lines, we can see that there are going to be ways in which the responsibilities of government can be devolved to the citizenry at large. And to envision how technology and social media and mobile media are going to serve a critical role in putting many, many government servants out of work was one of the things that I had the opportunity to talk about.
A lot of the conversation had to do with sort of learning from older cultures and what kind of cultures are necessary in order to be social innovators or sort of cultivate a kind of social innovation. And so one of the sort of welcoming sessions was a sort of calling out of ambassadors from within the group who would own different kinds of roles, or it was just people being ambassadors and sort of reflecting from their different point of view throughout the conference. So there was love and power, there was beauty, and there was courage, which is what Aditya was the ambassador for. So it wasn't so much a presentation as like a last minute pinning up the badge.
This sounds fun at all.
Oh, like you want me to use the words liquid courage?
Allow me to summarize. I hadn't had a lot of time to prepare. There was back-to-back presentations. I had the Social Frontiers presentation keynote coming up. But every morning, like when I was brushing my teeth, I had some chance to think about what I was going to say about this whole courage thematic, which is kind of awkward and can be terribly hokey. Could have been terribly hokey to talk about courage. After all, your own or anybody else's. This can become a boring topic very fast. So, slightly hungover every morning, there was an opportunity to reflect on courage, and liquid courage clearly immediately came to mind. But I thought what was interesting about liquid courage is to go more deep into the question of when you need it. When do you need liquid courage? It's when you are at the intersection, as I said, of fear and desire, where you feel the opportunity to achieve something, to perhaps conquer something, conquer your own fear and become someone who's capable of things that you may not be capable of or you think you may not be capable of. You're in that moment of indecision. And that's a moment in which you actually feel the need for liquid courage as a joke, but really you need any kind of courage, however you get it. So anyway, I actually talked in some depth about this and about the possibility of change, right, and the kinds of mental states that you might go into before you are able to change.
So you should have been there for David Diamond's Theatre of the Oppressed session.
Yeah, what happened there?
He has something that he calls the rainbow, and all social interactions that involve some sort of power dynamic fall within the spectrum of a rainbow, where one end is fear and the other end is courage. And so through the entire session, we sort of took an example of someone's story that they offered up, and we sort of played the fears and desires of both the people in that situation.
You know, one of the things that we should really talk about is the Civic Innovation Lab book that you've been working on, and that which we had an opportunity to share and disseminate among some pretty important global thinkers among the entire labs movement.
Yeah.
And we had Christian Mason and Giulio Kigeri as authors, contributors to this piece, and they were present, so we were able to get some selfies with them.
Yeah.
Vancouver has some terrifically hoppy beers. They're just extremely hoppy. The main thing that they do is IPAs and lagers that resemble IPAs. Red Racer is one of them. Fat Doug is another. It's like sharp, searingly hoppy beer. So I spent a lot of time pulling on beers and watching hockey, ice hockey, for force of circumstances. A Stanley Cup or some cuppers playing. So you couldn't get away from it. So every other bar in Vancouver had incredibly hoppy beers on tap and hockey on the television.